Hey guys, welcome to my Ocarina of Time Randomizer tutorial for ground jumps. And to start off, I'll show you what a ground jump looks like. So that's a ground jump. A little bit of context on this video is that in Ocarina of Time Randomizer, there's a few different rule sets people race with, and one of those rule sets is called the accessible or basic rule set. It's meant to be a mostly glitchless rule set that just allows like really basic glitches that don't really skip things, like not too many skips that you can do, like big tricks like mega flips. None of that, none of the mega flips or the infinite sword glitch, stuff like that isn't allowed. But one of the few glitches allowed is the ground jump, and the reason it's allowed is because there's a lot of really difficult jumps that can be done completely glitchlessly that are just a bit difficult for like a new player who's still learning the game to be able to do. And in the interest of like making it a little bit easier on those newer players, the ground jump is allowed to make those glitchless jumps easier. So there's a few different ways to do the ground jump, and it's very, very easy. The easiest method is to put a bomb in front of you, sword and shield at the same time, and then A and target. And I did it slowly there because I was describing it. But you want to do it a little bit quickly, and that stores your ground jump. So put it in front of you, sword and shield at the same time, A and target, while holding shield. And that's how you'll store your ground jump. And that's the easiest way to do it. There's a few other ways. You can put the bomb down, start moving down, and then slash your sword. And then you want to be like within grabbable range of the bomb. And the idea is you're just keeping Link from picking up the bomb, and for some reason that just stores a ground jump. Another really easy method of doing it is to drop a bomb by a wall, slash your sword, and then A and shield. And you want to hold target the whole time for this, so you'll like target the wall like this, hold Z the entire time, drop your bomb, slash sword, A and shield. And that's just another really easy way to do it. And the cool thing with ground jumps is you actually don't have to use bombs to do them. Like, you can use any grabbable object and a damage source. So like in this next room, there's some baby Dodongos, and there's some pots on the ground. And you can grab pots, and baby Dodongos do damage. So you store a ground jump just like that. And you can even do it without bombs. It just takes any grabbable object and something damaging you to push you away from it. If something like that happens, you won't store the ground jump. If you like fall off a ledge or something, the ground jump won't be stored. The other thing to remember with ground jumps is while you're in this ground jump state, you can't use your C buttons or your B button. Nothing will work until you actually release it. And by releasing it, I mean you backflip, and that will cause Link to pop forward with a ground jump. And there's a bunch of places that ground jumps are applicable, and I'm going to sort of go through them one by one here. I'm going to start with the Deku tree, because this is one of the most infamous skips in Ocarina of Time, is basement 1 skip in the Deku tree. If you've ever seen an any % speedrun, you've probably seen this done one or two different ways. And the main idea of it is it's a glitchless jump, so you target this wall, you're going to roll into this corner, and you're going to backflip twice, then you're going to side hop to the right, You're going to side hop to the left. And you're going to line your B button up with this texture on this wall here. You're going to roll forward. And then I like to buffer this next part, so you'll pause and hold up. And then when you unpause, mash A. And my angle was bad there, which is why it failed. If you ever do that, it's usually a sign that your angle was bad. It's not super precise, but if you're off by a little bit too much, it won't work very well. And see, that time my angle was correct, so it worked. Another way you can do it is to target the other side of this wall and roll into the same corner. And you backflip, and then you'll press A and let go of target, and that'll cause Link to have this angle. Then you'll backflip again, and you'll look to the left, and then you'll do a small S-turn to the left. It's just one. And an S-turn is where you push the control stick slightly out of the dead zone of the controller, and it'll cause Link to just shuffle a little bit to the right or left, depending on which way you're holding. And it looks kind of like this and stuff. Like, if you can get this position on your controller where he's doing this. Again, I'll go through that setup. So you'll roll into this corner, you'll backflip, roll and let go of target. And you'll backflip again, look to the left, and then one S-turn. And then Link will make the jump. But if you have bombs, you don't need to worry about any of that. You can just store a ground jump, and then come over to this wall, and use your ground jump, and you'll get right up there. And it's a much easier alternative to doing that. If you can also use it in Dodongo's Cavern in quite a few places. As Child Link, the main place you'll use it is over here. Adult Link can just climb right onto the switch, and 9 times out of 10 in Randomizer you'll want to come here as Adult just because it's faster and easier to do this dungeon as an Adult Link. But if you're here as Child Link for any reason, you can use a ground jump to get on top of this. And you don't have to store it off one of your own bombs, you can actually store it off the bomb flower too. Or you can store it off the baby Dodongos over there. But you'll probably use a bomb flower. Another useful jump, you probably won't ever use the ground jump method for this next skip. But it's super useful to know this jump. So in this room, when you get up here, normally you'll go through all the bottom of Dodongo's Cavern and stuff. And there's the this chest over here. Normally to get to that chest you have to like go through the slingshot rooms with the circles of fire, and you have to hit the switches to dissipate them. You have to fight some Lizalfos. It's sort of like a whole tedious thing to get to this one chest over here, but you can just jump here as Adult Link. Child Link can't make this jump, so he does have to go around. But Adult Link can just sort of hop right over, and it's not super precise to make this jump, but sometimes you'll have trouble with it, like you might fail it like that a lot. If you ever find yourself failing it a lot, just target this wall, do a backflip, then side hop to the right, and then roll and let go of target. And then this angle will work every time. If that doesn't happen, that was weird. Alright, let's try that again. Yeah. So that angle will work like every single time. I'm not sure what caused the short jump there. I might have been too close to the ledge. If you're too close to a ledge, Link will do like a little short hop like that. It's very silly. But if you find yourself down here and you have bombs, you can climb over here. And you can store a ground jump with any of the methods I showed you. and just hop right onto this wall, and that'll get you up here. Another thing you can use ground jumps for is killing King Dodongo. You might be wondering, why would I not just use bombs to kill King Dodongo with? And you're right, you can just use bombs, or you can use a bomb flower or anything like that, but let's say you don't have bombs and you don't have a bomb flower. Well, there's another thing you can do. I'll be using a glitch to get past this switch. Normally you wouldn't do this. But for the interest of time, I'm just going to use a glitch to get past that switch there. But let's say you want to fight King Dodongo, but you don't have bombs or bomb flowers, you just have bomb Chus. There's actually a method that you can use using ground jumps to kill King Dodongo with Chus, and I'll show it to you here. You don't actually need to use ground jumps. You can backflip and pull out a Chu, and it'll go into his mouth, but it's very precise and it's much easier to use ground jumps. So first you'll wait for him to blow his fire like that and avoid him. And then you'll store a ground jump off of this bomb flower. And try to get a kind of straight angle. Do your ground jump and pull out a Chu. And there you go. And I'll show it to you one more time. It's the same thing, you just store a ground jump. King Dodongo acts as your damage source, pushing you off the bomb flower. And that's all there is to it. And... oh, wrong one. Another place you can use a ground jump is here in this windmill. There's a few different methods to get to this heart piece. Normally you would go through Dompe's grave and come out of this exit over here using the Song of Time. Or as Child Link, you can use a boomerang and grab the heart piece that way. But if you don't have either of those items, if you don't have anything at all, you can still get to it. You just jump onto this little box here, and you just roll forward, and Link will jump right over here. You can also, again, use the ground jump. And it's super funny here, because Link will keep moving while the windmill. And you can actually also use a neat little trick with the hook shot. If you come to this wall and you aim up here, and then press hook shot and then just mash jump slash, and Link will recoil right up here onto the platform. And another place you can use ground jumps is here in the Sacred Forest Meadow on your way to talk to Saria. This won't work as Child Link, sadly, because these walls are just too high. I'm gonna kill this guy to keep him out of my way. You don't have to kill that guy, I'm just doing it to keep him out of my way while I explain this. Normally to get up here you could summon a scarecrow to get up here, or you could go through the entire maze and take the ladder on the other side. But if you don't have the scarecrow song and you don't want to have to go through the maze, you can store your ground jump and use that to get on top. And that's a pretty common method. But there's also a glitchless jump you can do if you don't have bombs. You'll just line up with this wall and side hop into this wall. Then, side hop into this wall, do a backflip, then face this wall, and do 2 more side hops over to the left. Then you'll backflip again, and you can use C up or a hookshot like this, and you want to just line up so the circle is right in the middle. This line, it's very small and it's hard to see, but it'll be splitting the B button in half. And then from there, just roll forward and hold right after you jump. And Link will go right up on top here. And if something happens to screw up that setup, like you get hit by the moblin or something and he sends you flying into the water here, which can happen, another easy way to do it is to just climb up onto this ledge after being knocked into the water, do the backflip, and then it's the same thing as before. And Link will just hop right up here. And then usually you're probably on your way to Forest Temple at that point, and Forest Temple has some helpful ground jumps as well. The main place you'll use it in Forest Temple is in this room over here. After getting a small key, you can go through this door, and it'll lead to the tower room with the block puzzle that you have to solve. And you need strength to move these blocks, so I'm going to have to put strength into my inventory real quick, because I do not have a strength upgrade right now. And so with these blocks, you're intended to have to push them all the way into this next room, following these like little painted arrows on the floor. But with ground jumps, you don't actually have to push it all the way. You will have to push it most of the way, but if you kind of like pull it mostly out like this, I pull it about 3 pulls out, and then I'll store a ground jump. Whoops. And then don't walk at this, because that'll void you if you step in it, and that's not too fun. But from there you can just hop right up there. And then this red block, you don't have to pull it all the way either. The jump is a little bit far to make normally, but you can do a kind of setup here. Like when you get to the block at this point, if you sort of stand in this corner and then pull it 2 more pulls and do the wall method that I showed you earlier with the ground jump, you'll get right up here and you'll be in this position. Then you look to the left, and then you'll backflip and pull a bomb, and Link will grab this edge here. And so now you want to wait for the bomb to start flashing quickly, and when it does, that's when you'll start climbing up. And it has to be pretty, like, right when it starts flashing quickly, so you kind of want to know your bomb timing for it. But when it starts flashing quickly, you'll climb up, and you'll target as Link is climbing up, and you'll hold slightly left of directly up. And that's a weird position, I know, but that's what it'll take to get you to the other side. Oh, I messed it up there. I climbed up. That's what happens if you climb up a little bit too soon. Link won't get the full distance from this jump. And it's actually a damage boost that he's doing here. Yep, so that's the correct way to do it right there. It's a damage boost that just gives you a little bit of extra distance, and it helps you from having to like push the block all the way. And there's actually one more useful jump here that isn't a ground jump. It doesn't involve a ground jump at all. Is in this room. I'm just gonna levitate up here. There we go. Okay. So, in this room, normally there's this door down here, and you're meant to get there by going through the room with the boss key chest, falling down from the boss key chest, and then going onto that ledge, and this is where you'd come from after coming back from that small key that the floor master has. But you can actually skip that entire process entirely. If you have hover boots, you can just hover, like walk down there, and you'll be able to make it. But if you don't have hover boots, you can target this over here and be in this corner, and then backflip, roll and let go of target, then retarget, then side hop this way, roll, slash your sword, and target again. Now backflip a few times, 3 times I do about, and then side hop 3 times, and then jump slash. And he'll recoil off that wall and land here. And I'll do it one more time just to show you. I'll do it a little bit faster this time because I did it slowly to explain it. It's that simple. And it'll get you right down onto this ledge early. And it's a little bit, I think it's a little bit faster to get here first than to go through the boss key room. And then there's a few more places you can use the ground jump. And that's here in Fire Temple. You might know that there's a block here in Fire Temple next to a crystal switch. And the idea is that you hit this crystal switch and it lowers the flames to climb up this grate in this next room. This block, there's no problem. Like, this block is... You don't need strength to move it for some reason. That specific block, you don't need strength. But this block in here, you do need strength. It's kind of a weird inconsistency with the programming. But yeah, this one requires strength to move. So if you don't have strength, it's okay. You don't actually need strength. If you line up with the block like this, and then do a backflip, and look slightly over to the right. Not too far. If you're too far, it won't work. But if you're not far enough, it won't work. So you kind of have to get a feel for it because there's no real good visual cue. And you just make the jump, and like the Sacred Forest Meadow jump, you're gonna hold in the direction where you want to go. So like, I'm not just holding straight up there, I'm holding up and to the left. And that helps Link get right on top of this box. You can also use a ground jump here, but if you store a ground jump, you're going to trigger the switch, and that's okay. It's not going to ruin your ground jump, but it is going to mess with the camera, so you'll need to like get your bearings before you activate it, because you don't want to jump off the ledge. And that's the useful jump here in Fire Temple. And there's another jump I want to go over that actually has nothing to do with ground jumps, but it's here in Water Temple. And you specifically need hover boots for this jump. And it lets you skip the long shot. It doesn't get you to the boss room, but it does let you check out the water boss key early. Like if you want to go to this chest over here early. So, there's a couple methods you can do to do this. I think the most common one is you'll backwalk and then just backflip and it'll get you right over. A method I like to use though, that is a bit more fun for me, it's probably slower, but it looks funny, is you'll do what's called a gainer, or you'll backflip in midair. And to backflip in midair, you'll run forward through midair, and you'll target, and then backflip and hold up. And Link will sort of like backflip forward from the momentum. But that'll let you get here early, and you can easily use the hover boots. Get this guy out of the way. And that'll get you over here pretty easily. But I might do a whole video on Water Temple because you actually don't need the iron boots for very much in this temple. There's a few ways around the iron boots if you don't have them. But another thing you can do is you can actually do a jump here. It's a little precise and there's no ground jump method to help you with it. There we go. And if you fail it, the water is kind of not nice about it at all. There we go. Yeah, it's a bit precise, but it is helpful to know that that jump is possible. But yeah, there's no real ground jump method for that one. And now there's this room. So Ice Cavern has some really useful ground jumps you can use in here. But you don't actually need ground jumps. You can obviously use ground jumps to get up to these places. It's a little tricky on the ice, but you can still use the wall method to do the ground jumps or the standing still method that I showed you. You actually can't use the wall method here, I forget. The ice screws with the wall method, so you have to use the standing still method to do it. You can also use hover boots to sort of move around Ice Cavern with those that forward flip I showed you earlier. You can use hover boots to do this. And it's really hard to explain like how that flip works. Oops, I'm getting destroyed by these ice keys. But it's basically while you're moving forward in midair, you'll target. It's so hard to do while I'm explaining it. I just sort of do it through muscle memory. But you'll target and backflip and then hold forward immediately after you backflip. And it's all just a really quick motion. And like once you figure out how to do it, it's really easy to do. But it takes a little bit of practice. But you can also do it without the hover boots. You obviously can't jump in midair, but you can do some cool jumps like this. You can get here. Or if you want to get to this rupee up here, you'll back a little bit away from the wall. I like to line up with like this line right here. And then you'll side hop and let go of target. Oops, messed it up there. You'll side hop and let go of target, and you saw there I got the jump. It's just a little bit weird. You'll hold up right, and there you go. He grabs the ledge like that. It's not super precise to do once you're used to it, but it's a little weird. And then you can come over here, and you can use a ground jump to get up here. But you can also line up with this, look to the left, mash this 4 times. Again, hard to do while I'm explaining it, but you'll mash A to side hop 4 times, and then you'll let go of target, and you'll hold slightly right of up. So you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're holding the right angle, he'll jump right up there. Like that. There you go. And of course, it's obviously, again, easier with a ground jump. You can just get right up there. And then there's one last glitchless jump here in Ice Cavern you can use. After you grab this, you'll grab the ledge usually. You won't climb up like that, but while he's hanging like this, you'll drop and you'll hold this angle by holding target. And you'll come to this corner. You'll backflip and wait for him to stop sliding. And then you're going to side hop to the right. Let go of target and hold up. And Link will jump right onto this ledge right here. This is actually the easiest one of all 3 to do. but it's like the most useful because you don't have to solve the puzzle all the way. Super easy. And then in Shadow Temple, I actually have a Pharaoh's Wind point for this, so I don't have to walk through Shadow Temple. In this Crusher room, normally you have to push this block all the way to get on top of these Crushers, but if you just pull it out 2 pulls and then store your ground jump, you can climb right up there. You do need strength to move this block, but still doing this ground jump is a lot faster than pushing it all the way over there. And then the last place I want to show the ground jump is in Gerudo's fortress. We'll go here. This is a good spot. When you're freeing the carpenters, you can do a little jump slash here. You can actually bypass the guards up here. If you have bombs, you can just use a ground jump and get right up here to get up to this entrance fairly quickly. Most of the walls are too high for a ground jump, but this one is just low enough that Link will grab it. You can also ground jump onto this wall, or if you don't have bomb... Oh, you can't. Okay. I was right, this one is too high. Sorry. But you can also just do this jump as well, and it'll let you get up there. Yeah, this was sort of just like a quick, rough tutorial for ground jumps. And I hope it's helpful for anyone who was wondering where you can use ground jumps and how to do them. There's a lot of information in this video, but these are all super useful ground jumps to know, and I highly recommend learning all of them. I recommend learning the glitchless versions of these jumps too, because it's very helpful to have that in case you don't have bombs, and it's totally worth practicing. But yeah, I hope it was helpful to you, and thanks everyone for watching.